Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to A House of Many Doors. You can see I've driven us back to Failbetter Quinn here, because we need to get down into the stupefaction baths. We need to actually hit this. In theory, we have the insight to get the job done. It's just a matter of the die roll going our way. So, fingers crossed, everyone. Alright, we shrug into the silk robe, let the hot steam swallow you, just click head deeper 3 times real quick. Here we go. Alright, your tongue bursts free of your mouth and scuttles down into your navel. You sing. The gods sing with you. This is the dream time. Immortality awaits. You are suddenly giddy with joy. Your limbs hang numb at your sides. You bark a laugh and slump against the wall. Sleep. Dreams. Scythes with wings. Glass in the desert. A rocking chair. You resurface. How long were you out? A portentous dream. Really, what is the portent? Point to me the part that tells me anything about anything. It's fine, head deeper. A crow soars overhead, pursued by an angel. You breathe deep of the steam. Your head is throbbing. You are racked by visions of a world with a mustard yellow sky. The people walk on stilts across an endless plain of snapping beaks. Deeper still. You walk through a garden of glittering trees. You walk through a charnel corridor, your feet skidding on blood. You walk past 8 portraits of children. You walk under the gaze of a mountain. Steam billows out your silk robes and carries you along like an infant, even as you slip in and out of consciousness. You are almost there. The walls are lined with distorting mirrors. Your own face twists and stretches around you. Your heart is a stone die rattling in your chest. There's something obviously unsettling about the idea of never being able to tell in this place whether you're awake or asleep, but it especially bothers me that we're like wandering around in these intense steamy corridors. There's a real physical danger here in addition to the mental and psychological dangers. And then, deeper still, you are falling, and you've explored all of the stupefaction baths. No big deal. No check to make here, just get lucky enough, I guess, and avoid the check entirely. Alright, well, we did it. 80 apprehensions. No one's ever reached me before, grunts a voice. It has a note of grudging admiration. You find yourself floating in a warm, salty pool at the center of a magnificent palatial chamber. There are marble columns, gold-framed mirrors, a grand piano in the corridor. At the bottom of the pool is a garish mosaic depicting a graphic sex act. A nude old man sits on a reclining chair at the pool's edge, sipping a frosted cocktail. He is muscular and rather handsome, despite his age, with a shaggy beard and long gray hair. So, I wish I remembered exactly what our vision was. We saw a vision of a guy in the steam baths. This might be him. I'm gonna not acknowledge his nakedness. This dude is here naked with his garish mosaic of a graphic sex act for the purpose of making people feel uncomfortable, and I'm not gonna let him know that he's kinda creeping me out. We're just gonna push on. Where am I? Underneath the baths, the old man shrugs himself into a robe. I'm Hummingbird, prophet, hermit, amateur comedian. He helps you out of the pool. I haven't had a visitor in 40 years or so. Drink? You glance up. There's a trap door in the ceiling above the pool. That's where you must have fallen through. Boy, I sure hope there's a way out. Why do you live underneath the baths? I can only tolerate people in very small doses, says Hummingbird matter-of-factly. That's very understandable. But they're always seeking me out for wisdom or some bullshit, so I built the baths to keep 'em out. Had to stay in Failbetter Quinn, see? He frowns. You know the god trapped in the porcelain spire? I put him there. I doubt he'll ever get out, but I wanted to stay and make sure. Wait, there's a god in the spire? Did we know that? I feel like that's a thing. Boy. Sorry, you trapped a god? Oh, no need to sound so shocked, says Hummingbird, chuckling. That was it back in my less fragmented days. Huh. Well, why did you trap him? Justice, he shrugs. Or revenge, some would call it. He betrayed my trust, ruined everything. Who are you really? I told you. I'm Hummingbird, the old man grins. Well, I mean, if this guy's an aspect of the trickster, how do we How do we interact with that? Hold on. What do my quests actually say? The clock one. Night of Clocks. You must find one aspect of the trickster. You dreamed of a muscular old man in a steam-clogged labyrinth. Okay, so this is the dude. Let's ask if he has any wisdom. Never trust a god, says Hummingbird. Follow your dreams, try to have a sense of humor. I don't know, he snorts. Nothing I can say will give you enlightenment. If your entire outlook on life can be changed by a few sentences, you're probably a dimwit. The man makes an interesting point. I don't want to say my goodbyes. We need to... it just says find the aspect of the trickster. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was that Morbazar said to us yesterday. What is it that we need to do with the aspect of the trickster? I don't want to seduce him. This dude is... He's a little bit of a creeper. And I just don't... But maybe we have to do this for the quest? It's possible that I have to seduce this old man for the quest. Ah, bloody hell, let's do it. Maybe it's the steam getting to your head, but he doesn't look half bad for his age. I'm not usually into, the big muscular... It's fine. It's fine. You fetch another drink, and another, then you slip into the water and splash each other, laughing. You drift closer to Hummingbird, touching his knee, stroking his cheek. As soon as he realizes your intentions, it's on. His embrace is fierce and blissful, his breath smells of raspberries, A look of purest lust. With a look of purest lust. He undresses you and sweeps you up to his bedroom. Okay, so there's a way up out of the room. Finally, you're both too exhausted to continue. Okay, hey, wait, this is something. Wait, says Hummingbird, raising a hand. Can I come with you? I can pay my way. I've been cooped up here far too long. I want to travel again. He rummages through a nearby treasure chest, pulling out silver candlesticks and golden coins. I got some stuff here, probably worth a few bob, eh? Let me become your passenger for a while. What do you say? Okay, I think I want you on board the train. Don't you say a damn word to Cromlech. For real, I will mess you up. Another undreamt treasure. Excellent. He grins. Thank you kindly. I'll show you the way out. But first, he hands you a heap of glittering treasures. Emerald necklaces, tiaras, coins. My payment. Raising a hand to his mouth, he makes a call like birdsong. A ladder drops from the ceiling above. Back up to the baths, he says. After you. You clamber up, back to Failbetter Quinn. So we've gained the aspect of the trickster. We're doing it. I think. I'm never 100% sure in this place. Cromlech and I never explicitly said anything about exclusivity, right? It's still probably best he doesn't know what happened down there. I don't know if we needed to seduce the dude to get him on board, but I do know that there's a lot at stake here. The house and everything. So I think it was worth doing. I don't know. Obviously I have mixed feelings about the whole thing, but we have a very important task to finish. So I guess we're done here. We can't actually rest and recover, so I don't know exactly where we're gonna need to end up. That was our third journal, right? So we should probably head back in the direction of... Boy, I don't even remember. Signal Station Null. No, wait. The Oddwinter Intrusion. We should probably head in the direction of the Oddwinter Intrusion. So I guess, north? I already went through Eldabrathat. We got the news from Eldabrathat. I've been to the Archives of Tanks, so I guess we're just headed to Chimer? Yeah. But mostly what we're doing here is we are going outside and probably having a dream would be my guess. Exhaustion. You slave over your journals and notes, scraps of poetry, places you've been, people you've met, and then fall asleep at your desk, tormented. And yes, this is the moment when we must make the decision. So here's the thing. I thought about this a little bit. I tried to figure out where our character's head is at. Because obviously, leaving the house seems very important. Now, we might have a way of creating another doorway out of the house with the Demon of Laplace, but the thing is, I think at this point, probably our character, we've done some pretty hideous things in pursuit of our goals, And I think at this point, our character is probably convinced that the corrupting influence of the house means it must be destroyed. Sure, that might mean killing a couple million people here, but it does also mean the house is not kidnapping anyone anymore, and we might be preventing a potentially unbound number of people from falling into this horrible, monstrous place. I think we're gonna do the destruction of the... I just actually read the text on that. If you reach the end of this storyline, all your saves will be deleted and you will never be able to play A House of Many Doors again? Really? I mean, I gotta admire the audacity of that. No, we're doing it. This... Even if I had thought that we were going to go the other way, this would make me sort of want to lean this way. Are they actually going to... They might be playing with us, but if they're actually going to do that, that's pretty cool. We're dreaming of clocks, for so many different reasons. You dream that you are in Morbazar's palm. No, not the case, wrong. You dream that you are in the house, and then you wake up? Oh, what is this? Oh, what is this? Just a book I've been reading. So do I need to... No, okay, it's not just sparkles that we can interact with. I've read all these 100 times. Yo! Sometimes I wish that I did have a face cam on, because I'm definitely having some reactions here. So there's nothing... Oh no, here we go. Men must endure... They're going hence, even as they're coming hither. Ripeness is all. Huh. Okay, well, what's outside? Is that a time clock on the... Boy, you sure move slowly. There does not seem to be a way to run, unfortunately. Portraits of mother's previous children. Oh, okay, yeah, those are pictures hung on the wall. This one's hung real close to the floor, though, huh? She adopted me after the last one died. Well, this is very strange. This is very strange. Can I get some cookies? Mother summons sweets and cookies for me. I wonder if children on other worlds would get blamed for these disappearing. Can I interact with... No, okay, it's just the same message, and for some reason it only stays on the screen for a split second. That's weird. It's probably not how that's intended to go. Like I said, face cam would be... Boy, that's a thing that's happening. That's Mother, I guess? Blue fire. It's cold. And this clock is in a higher resolution than everything else for some reason. Mother can make the hands go fast, or slow, or backwards. Hi, Mother. Mother, is it true that all of us will die? Oh, not I, my child. Well, what about me? Yes. One day you will die. I will carry your soul away myself. That's not super comforting, but yeah, I appreciate the honesty. So these are jars of row after row of hourglasses. Huh. They don't look that much like hourglasses. Mother's scythe. The air around it is cold. And they're all just the same, yeah, row after row of hourglasses. Well, this is not the thing that I thought was going to happen. I guess let's check the rest of the house. Probably not a good idea to try to steal the scythe with Mother sitting right there. Oh. Is this the orchard? I mean, it's trees with lights hanging off of them, right? A very shiny tree. Mother says not to eat the fruit. Okay, we're very constrained in where we can go here. Well, alright, I guess let's go check the other... Man, I wish I could... wish I could run. I appreciate the ambition of this. They are doing a big weird thing, and I'm very here for it. Also, I like the fact that the soundtrack still basically has train noises in it. Mother doesn't really understand what a ball pit is. She made it a mile deep. What? You know, she was trying. You gotta give her that. Oh, Owlglass, you're the only one who understands me. It's like a stuffed clown. And we got some games. I said I was bored, so Mother summoned me some board games. I play them on my own. She's trying, I guess. I mean, I do have a key. I'm not allowed down to the cellar. But, okay, no, it won't let me. So whenever you examine something a second time, for some reason the message only stays on screen as long as you hold down the interact button, it looks like. Well, I guess we could go ask Mother about the cellar. This is really cool. Still would like to be able to run, though. Mother, can you summon a puppy for me to play with? First, bring my scythe from the hourglass room, child. I must go collecting. That scythe is bigger than I am. Maybe you could... Alright. You gingerly pick up the scythe. Gained 1 scythe. Yep, okay, I sure did. Did these do anything new? She says never to touch them. That is new text. Well, here's your scythe. Thank you, child. I will be back soon. But what about my puppy? When I return. It's a little crappy for the kid to be like, no, you gotta do it for me right now. Mother left the cellar key behind. I should hold on to it until she gets back. Yes, that's what I should do with it. Just hold on to it. And very, very slowly hold on to it. That's basically the same sound that it made when we unlocked the door in the house, right? I guess they keep you from doing this until you've unlocked a door so that will be familiar. Oh my. Well, how odd. I didn't know there was anything down here. Yeah, odd. That's a good word for the thing we're seeing. I am the architect, Heart. You can talk! Are you the one who summons things for Mother? Who adds rooms to the house? I currently serve that purpose. Are you very wise, O Heart? Wiser than you. Sick burn there. Really? That's the end of our interaction? Mother tells me I will die one day. Is she right? She doesn't have to be. I could prevent your mother from returning if there were no mortals here. Wherever mortals exist, she can find them, without exception. But I'm mortal, so there's no hope. Well, there is always hope. Go to the orchard. Bring me a fruit. But Mother said never to... Go. I mean, to be fair, Mother said never to eat the fruit. She didn't say, don't bring the fruit to a giant talking heart in the basement. I assume she probably didn't want to tell us about the giant heart in the basement. So if the heart makes us immortal, then Mother can no longer find us. But why would that prevent her from being able to come back? She should know where this place is, you would think. But maybe that's why she even has a child around, so that she can use the child as a beacon to find this place again? I guess we'll find out. You pull a shining fruit from the tree. It's warm. Gained 1 fruit. And it just goes right on top of my key. I do not have a very complicated inventory. I love 16-bit more bizarre. Look at his sprite. What? Who are you? Relax, kid. I'm a friend. A friend? Really? Yeah. And friends help each other, right? So do us a favor and tell the architect never to impede the progress of a poet named SB. It's true, I am a poet. Why should I? I can do you a favor in return. Oh, okay. Wow. 2 new friends in one day. So... I need to know more about the nature of this heart before I can know what's going on here. So The heart is the architect who adds rooms to the house, and presumably is the one who would be in control of moving the rooms around in the house. Like Morbazar said, if we tried to find the place we were going, it would move, right? Or maybe it would be moved. So we tell the heart not to impede the progress of SB's quest, and then it stops moving the rooms around, and I guess is the plan? I have the fruit. What now? Eat it. It will make you immortal. I was definitely told not to eat them. Oh, it tastes wonderful. I didn't even get a choice. It is done. Now, do you wish to prevent your mother from returning? Oh, yes, otherwise she will be so angry. And you should add 12 new rooms, a kennel, a swimming pool, a better ball pit, and lots of friends for me to play with. Wait, if there are mortals here, my mother could return. Oh, darn. I could summon immortal playmates instead. All worlds have gods. Oh, yes, please. You've been very kind, Mr. Hart. I hope we're friends. I hope so, too. Do not leave me. Huh. You are beneath the titanic clock face of Morbazar. The trickster perches up on Morbazar's hour hand, cross-legged. He is not the fragment you found, nor the young boy you saw walking alone through his mother's cold halls. In the dream, at least, he is whole again, a young man with shaggy black hair. The clock-faced man in the garden, says the trickster. He looks dumbstruck. Morbazar. How could I forget that? With all that came after, I never gave it a second thought. Okay, yeah, I would describe that as a haunting vision that we just had. Looks like I already got what I needed from you. The trickster throws back his head and laughs. It is a thin, ragged sound. Yes, looks like you did. The laughter dies away, as abruptly as it started. He runs his hands across his face, twisted in something like agony. Why couldn't you forget this mad clock god? You've done this 1,000 times before. Why change now? Sorry, what do you mean I've done this before? Something about the house is corrupted, says the trickster. I told it to grow and grow, millions of rooms in every direction, so I could hide where I chose. But it wasn't built to handle this kind of stress. Once it grows to a certain point, it resets back to the beginning, back to the memory you just saw. Now, all of us, we've done this before, again and again and again, living out the roles we were assigned. He jabs his finger down at you. But now you and Morbazar are going disastrously off script. My only consolation is that you will fail. Another god, far greater than Morbazar, stands in your way. Who? Oh, you think the scar in reality goes unguarded? The trickster shakes his head. Scorthidion blocks your way. The mountainous scab, the coagulant god. A proper god, not some jumped-up angel. People won't stop bringing up the angel thing. A booming voice from above. Morbazar's clock hands have started ticking again. The trickster jolts in surprise. There. I think that's enough time alone with my protege, trickster. I no longer owe you a favor. The trickster raises his hands in supplication to the impassive clock above. Morbazar, I know what you're planning, you and my mother, and I just want to tell you, you don't need to... Morbazar's titanic finger descends and squashes him like a grape, splattering you from head to toe. I do wish that it was a little bit easier to tell who's talking from moment to moment. I mean, it's fine for it to be like a little dreamlike and weird inside the narrative. It kind of makes sense for it to be a little dreamlike and weird, and for you to like sometimes have text on a button that's not clear who's speaking and stuff. But for the purpose of me performing it, it's a little tricky. So Morbazar just woke up the trickster. Somewhere the trickster was dragged into this dream, and Morbazar just woke him up. So we don't need to ask why did you kill him. I get why you killed him. You could have given me a little warning, though. Sorry about that, says Morbazar apologetically. I had to destroy the aspect of him which showed you that vision. Otherwise, he could have just told the heart to disregard his previous command. The other fragments of the trickster are blissfully unaware of what transpired here. The destroyed aspect will recover from its destruction, but by then it will be too late to stop us. He waves a hand over you, and the blood fades from your clothes. Well, okay, I appreciate that. So he just obliterated the hummingbird then. That was not putting the hummingbird to sleep. That was like a more serious thing that happened. So wait, if you'd already gone back in time and taken care of it, why did you need me to find the trickster at all? I needed access to the trickster in order to delve into his past, says Morbazar. My specialties are games and stories, memories and mirrors. I needed his mind as a gateway. I advise you not to think too hard, not to think about it too much, or your head will pop off. Time travel is hard. Okay, so he had not done that thing in the past until the moment when we brought the trickster to him, or rather brought him to the trickster by dreaming while the trickster was on the train. So, was the trickster right? Do I have to destroy Squirthidian? Yeah, without Squirthidian healing the scar, this whole rickety house would fray at the seams. But don't worry, the effort is too much, even for a god. We'll be able to peel that scab, no problem. So now nothing can stop us. That's correct, says Morbazar. Now the way forward is simple. We face another locked door, far south. All we need is the key. Oh, a special key. Where is the threshold key? You're not going to like this. Tick-tock goes the clock. It's held in the factory, along with the governor's other keys. You're going to need to break into the most secure vault in existence. Okay, but where exactly? The factory is the size of a town. I'm sure I can leave the finer details to you. Good luck. The finger descends a second time. A moment of screaming pressure before all your innards collapse. You wake with fingers bleeding, the nails ragged and embedded with splinters. Ugh. When you look up, you realize you've scratched a crude map of the factory's interior into your headboard. Huh. All that stands in your way is the factory. So it's... okay, and somehow we ended up sideways in a doorway. Ooh, wow, the train feels real fast after the walking in that dream. So, hold on a second, we gotta replanulate here. So we need to go back to the City of Keys. Wow, we got, moved. Okay. So, we don't actually need our current key for anything? I mean, do we want to go do our other stuff, or... Let's go back to the City of Keys and see exactly what it is that we need to do. Actually, you know what? Maybe we should... We're real close to the City of Angels, right? Let's swing by the City of Angels first to get the free health restoration. Or free sanity restoration. What am I talking about? We can just pay the money. We have 20,000 guineas. We're fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. I don't need to be so stingy. Yeah, we'll go back to the house and back to the city. So I guess we don't need to try to contact Viola Nox anymore. And my suspicion is she would not be too happy to see me. It is kind of wild that there were what was it, 5 other clues beyond those 2 that we just had no idea what they were representing. There might be a lot of house that we haven't seen yet. Stuff behind the other doors, I guess. All right, let's rest and recover a bunch. They are not going to like this. We should probably turn in all of our reports as well. All right, back to the streets. I'm gonna put one of my undreamt treasures in here. An undreamt treasure sits glittering beneath the watchful eye of a guard golem. Your museum is 60% complete. Do we think it's pretty yet? Nope. The exhibits themselves are still mostly hideous. Well, we could put in another undreamt treasure. We do have another one that would prevent us from doing the Prince's Heart quest, though. And we're finding these undreamt treasures more frequently now, but they're still they're from things that we couldn't just do again. The number of undreamt treasures we have access to is pretty small in total. Museum is at a barely acceptable level of decency, and it is morbid and haunting, which of course is wonderful. Boy, you gotta put a lot of stuff in your museum. For the moment, let's the primordial oddity, man. Let's bounce. I do not want to donate a key. The lady's upset. The museum's invading her nightmares. Yeah, it'll do that. I mean, I guess let's start planning the heist. Let's figure out what it is we're gonna need here. The factory is a bloated concrete beast, devouring things and people, expelling waste from 1,000 orifices. It is a fortress, a laboratory, an industrial hub, a seat of government. But, more than that, the citizens whisper that it exists across multiple dimensions, that it's even bigger inside than out, that its layout changes daily to baffle enemy spies. So all you need to do is break into its deepest, most closely guarded vault. No big deal. This will require talent. Make sure you gather together your most loyal crew before you begin. And you will also need a fetch mirror, which, it turns out, we have. So you gather your crew around the headboard, which has been carefully prized from the bed. It is still engraved with the intricate map of the factory you scratched in your sleep, which is maybe not even accurate anymore? The factory's front gate is impossibly well guarded. You'll have better luck getting in via the Mirrorwise, although of course the governor has placed defenses there as well. Once you're inside, you'll need to make your way down to the vaults, which are behind another locked door and layer of security. The key is held in the deepest vault of all, past a 6-foot-thick stone door and a web of occult safeguards. You will need to assemble a crack team. Well, we're definitely going to need an occultist. Once you've reached the vault, the occultist will disable its invisible web of enchantments, protections, and curses. I should be pretty good at this, but I might be needed for other stuff, and Pen Pusher should be real good at this, so... Pen Pusher will attempt to unravel the occult protections on the vault. The Infiltrator will be your man or woman on the inside, someone who can gain access via the front gate while you sneak in through the Mirrorwise. They'll add you to the authorization list and feed your blood to the identification banks, which will hopefully allow you to go unnoticed. For a time. Make sure you pick a crew member who has pre-existing ties to the factory and the governor. So it would need to be somebody with high reputation, City of Keys. Rutherford might be good for this, right? Or does Rutherford have ties to the factory, though? I mean, Augustus Ribbons, right? Yeah, I think so. Augustus Ribbons is on that faction, right? Entering through the factory front door and preparing the way. I think that makes sense. The Charmer will fast talk you past the guards in an emergency and help you trick your way down to the vaults. This could be me, but also, honestly, Genevieve fits here. A distraction. The distraction will draw most of the factory guards to them, allowing your sneak thief to steal keys and disable alarms unopposed. Make sure you pick a crew member capable of making a great deal of fuss and noise. Welcome aboard, Ashen. A sneak thief. Sneak thief will take advantage of the distraction to sneak into the factory's command center, steal the keys, and disable the vault alarms. So this is a thing of guile. Who's our guile crew member right now? Cromlech is insight. I mean, this could be Delgado. I think Delgado's our graft guy, though, right? I'm pretty sneaky. This might be my job. I think this is my job. The muscle. Make sure you pick a crew member who doesn't mind getting elbow deep in blood. That's probably Ashen. So who else could be a distraction then? I mean, this could be Genevieve. This could be Mobius. Spire doesn't really seem to fit, I don't think. It could be Delgado too. I can't be the sneak thief if I'm also the distraction, right? I don't think that makes sense. Cromlech is an insight guy. I'm gonna put Vanch on this. Safecracker. A crew with lockpicking skills or explosives experience. Do we know? I mean, Delgado's got some mechanical sense, right? I think that Delgado can do this. I'm trying to think. Do we know of anybody who is more explicitly like an explosives or lockpicking person? Viola Knox is probably pretty good at lockpicking. She seems like an all-around thief. We could try to go get her. I don't think it makes sense to put Cromlech on this, or Spire. I'm going to assign Delgado to it. Or I could just have myself do everything. We're going to try it this way. I think that this is a pretty strong team. Let's set the plan into motion. You take a moment to assess your crew. Through the window behind them, the factory's chimneys loom, This seems like exactly the sort of thing we ought to be good at. This calls for a rousing speech. I failed it, damn it. You jab a knife into the table, and all eyes turn to you. This won't be easy, you tell your team. In fact, no one's ever successfully stolen from the factory before. The entire city thinks it impossible. But you're going to succeed, you tell them, because you saw it in a dream. If anything, they look more worried than before. Alright, let's talk to people here. I thought you were a loyal citizen of Keys. Augustus stares at you, mustache bristling. This is not just a crime, it is treachery. Pure and simple. He storms from the room, but will he still do it is the question. I think he's the kind of guy who puts a lot of weight on following orders, hopefully. I'm gonna make notes, says Penpusher excitedly. The factory's defenses are sure to boast some amazing Thurgic innovations. I can't wait to see what it tries to kill us with. Ashen leans back in her chair, wiggling the tip of her knife between her teeth. I was gonna leave the governor till the end, she grunts. Take my time. Savor it. But I suppose I can alter my schedule. Genevieve runs through the plan with you a second, third, and fourth time, each time offering a slew of criticisms and suggested changes. Finally, she seems satisfied. This is going to be interesting, she says. Dr. Vance looks off to one side, contemplatively. This promises to be interesting. This is so exciting, exclaims Dr. Delgado. I've never been in a real heist before. We should get some gadgets, and one of us has to turn out to be a mole. Yeah, I think we know who that's going to be. Alright, we're committing. Augustus, do the thing. After several days of preparation, forging past papers, rehearsing backstories, perfecting disguises, you're ready. Augustus will need to enter the factory first and pave the way for the rest of you. The syringe slips smoothly into your arm. I'll need samples from all of you, Augustus says as the vial turns red. His face is set with grim resolve. Once inside, I'll add your names to the registry. That should be enough to get you in the main building. But I can't help you access the vaults. Finally, he's taken blood from each of you. This kind of subterfuge makes me queasy, he says. Far better to lose my life in battle than die a traitor. If I'm caught, I plan to fight. With a solemn farewell, he turns and walks the long road to the factory's front gate. Past the coils of barbed wire, past the watchtowers, past a legion of soldiers and snipers. You watch from a distance as Governor's men stop and search him, check his paperwork, take his blood, and spend half an hour interrogating him. And then, the great factory door grinds open, to swallow Augustus whole. God, I hope he values his loyalty to me, on account of I'm his current captain, greater than his loyalty to the governor. And we wait for the signal. 4 hours later, a glimmer of light at a factory window. 1, 2, 3 flashes of a lantern. This was the signal. Augustus has succeeded in his task, or at least that's what he wants us to believe. Now it's up to you. You exchange nods with your assembled team. No one speaks. Everyone knows what they must do. We step into the Mirrorwise, and the glass shatters around you. The Mirrorwise embraces you like an eager lover, fronds of shimmering froth swirling around your legs, giant frogs flying above on wings of silver. You know, the usual chaos. But something's different. A little way ahead, where you'd expect to find the factory topside, you are instead confronted by a vast ocean of slurry. No mad colors, no kaleidoscope anarchy, just a gray-brown lake, pulsing unpleasantly, stretching for miles. You approach the stain cautiously. The Mirrorwise is a place of unreal color and light, not smell. Nothing here should be real enough to smell. Yet the Sea of Slime is an exception. Its fetid stench makes your knees weak. Alright, fingers crossed on this one, since apparently it's about a coin flip. Let's approach the stain. You bury your face in your sleeve and press forward, the rest of your crew gagging and coughing behind you. As you approach the ocean stain, its surface ripples and parts. Something much larger than a whale rises. The slime cascades away. The lurker resembles nothing so much as an enormous leather sack, stitched with 1,000 solemn faces. The colossal monstrosity beaches, outstretches one face among the hundreds, and opens a single mouth. A fang gleams. Alright, well, I feel like it would be deeply shitty of us to push one of the other people to the front. If it's gonna take somebody's blood, I suppose it ought to be mine. As you pull up your sleeve, the face's nostrils twitch. The fang slides into your wrist. A splinter of agony shivers up your arm. It drinks for a moment, then squirms back. "Blood recognized," booms the sack thing. 1,000 badly stitched faces crease into 1,000 unconvincing smiles. Pass. Okay, Augustus really did it. Again, if he's going to betray us, it could be that, he wants to let us in first, so we'll see. One by one, your crew submit to the creature's taste test. Once it's satisfied, it opens a mouth to the size of a tunnel, allowing you to clamber down into its slime-dripping innards. You walk for a seeming eternity down the gullet, finally coming across a dead end and a single square of glass. This must be it, the only mirror in the factory, and the only way in through the mirror-wise. Beyond the glass, on the factory side, a grumpy-looking guard is waiting. "Identify yourselves." You give him your name, and he flicks through the file at his side. "Well, you're on the register," he admits grudgingly, and you breathe a silent sigh of relief. Augustus managed to add you in time. "But I've not seen you before. What's your reason for being here?" "All right, Genevieve, you're up." "Urgent abstemi business," says Genevieve cheerfully. "I'm sure you can understand why we couldn't come in through the front." She flashes your forged paperwork alongside a little black pass card you've not seen before. The guard nods and steps back. "Come on in." You surge through the mirror glass. "Oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize that the abstemi credentials would be useful here. It's a good thing we picked her for this." And into the factory beyond. On the other side of the glass, a room suspended in blackness. No ceiling, no walls, an endless void filled with mirrors. Thousands of glass panes, or millions, gliding on cables in a vast moving lattice that spreads as far as you can see in every direction. Your own face stares at you from countless angles. The guard sits on a stool in the corner of the suspended platform, sipping a coffee and flicking through a newspaper. "Well, go on ahead," he says, pulling a lever. 4 mirrors descend and rotate around the platform slowly, your face vanishing and replaced by a different image in each. So the first mirror depicts an enormous mechanical beast roaring at a starry sky. The second depicts a bookshelf, but every tome is replaced by another bookshelf, and so on. The third shows a mass grave where every limb is twitching, and in the fourth a woman stares back at you. She is wearing a wooden mask of your own face. We're looking for the place where they keep the keys. Well, Nahash likes us. Maybe the bookshelf. Oh, but you know what? We've spent all of our divine scrutiny, though. Boy, I have no idea what to do here. We're going bookshelves. Our character likes books. I mean, there's no books in here, but our character likes bookshelves, too. You fall amongst the shards into a vast room, so big it could be a room of the house, and certainly much too large to be contained within the bounds of the factory. It is dotted with mile-wide orbs, each revolving slowly. At first, the shifting patterns on the orbs are confusing. Then you realize they're spherical bookshelves, each sporting millions of rows of books. This is a bigger library than the Ragstacks and the Incarnate University combined. The bookshelf orbs are circled by flying bronze eyeballs, scanning the shelves with arcs of red light. They ignore you utterly. You make the long journey to the other side of the room, where a door awaits you. I mean, we have to try to get a couple of the books, right? Obviously. You can't resist a good selection of books. You creep up to the shelf orb and sneak a few tomes from the lower tier while the mechanical eyeballs are scanning the other side. Okay, I was kind of hoping we would get some new kind of thing, but that's fine. Alright, hurry toward the door. The factory is infested with guards of all kinds. Governor's men, of course, but also alarm ghosts, combat golems, giant floating skulls with eyes like spotlights. You need to send SB to disable the alarms, but this will be impossible unless the guards are distracted. Alright, Dr. Vanch, it's time to get theatrical. Dr. Vanch opens his coat, revealing row after row of stoppered vials. "I have collected several samples of the fastest-acting diseases known to man," he hisses dramatically. "Necrotic flu and extensis. The former will rot you alive. The latter will grant your organs a hideous sentience, forcing them to crawl terrified from your body. It happens in seconds." He sweeps his coat and stalks away, hurling one of the glass vials ahead of him. That was a bad I made a bad move here. This was a little more than I needed. Well, too late now. Moments later, the screams begin, and that's a distraction. Guards rush past to deal with the disturbance, not sparing you a second glance. The next stage of the plan is for you to sneak into the hopefully emptied command center. You order your crew to head down to the vaults. You'll meet them there after you've disabled the alarms and found the key. A test of guile, which apparently we're not 100% ready for. The factory is powered by a torrent of ghosts, channeled endlessly through the pipes in the walls. You unscrew a grate from the wall and slip into the spectre vents, allowing yourself to be buffeted along on a wave of ectoplasm. The factory's layout is outlandishly complex, but you know exactly where to go. In 10 minutes, you've reached the guard's command room, and it's empty, just as planned. The distraction must be working. I do feel very bad for them. Panels of blinking red lights, fuzzy screens showing grainy images of corridors. You find the switches that control the alarms, and turn them all to off. Then you search the wall of keys, but you can't find any for the vaults. Maybe they use a different kind of lock. There's a red-ribboned candle in a glass case. It looks important enough to grab. Having done everything you can, you slip back into the vents just as the guards open the door. I suppose, to be fair, as an ex post facto justification for why it's okay to do the thing we've done here, if our plan is to destroy the entire house, probably these guys were gonna die anyway? You couldn't find a key, but you'd need to head to the vaults. Your team will meet you there. Dr. Mobius Vance joins you on the way, having slipped away from the chaos. As you rush down the maze-like corridors, you pass rooms carpeted in green fire or crowded with severed heads in bubbling jars, or filled with indistinct figures suspended in smoke, and you ignore them all. Down, down, endlessly down. The door to the vaults is a colossal slab of rune-shimmering iron, far too thick to blow open, and instead of a keyhole, it has an eye scanner and fingerprint scanner. Carved into the wall beside it is an alcove marked Memory Search Station. Footsteps from further up the corridor. A guard is coming. Okay, I'm gonna rely on Genevieve, because not that I think Ashen is unable to do the job, but I worry that Ashen might do the job in a way that would cause us further problems. Genevieve is a much smoother, more subtle tool. Quick! Genevieve pulls a lockpick from her pocket and jams it into the side of the finger scanner. She pulls away a panel, fiddles with some wires, and leaves a crowbar lying conspicuously beside the door. Then she pulls you into a side room where you watch through a crack in the door. The approaching guard is a governor's man, wearing a suit and bow tie and a thoroughly sour expression. He stops and looks up at the door, then at the crowbar lying nearby. You can almost see the wheels turn behind his eyes. He sighs and begins to open the vaults. Well, that's nice of him. The governor's man places his eye over the scanner and it turns green. He grabs the nozzle from the memory search station and plugs it into the side of his head. "No dishonest intentions detected," declares a smooth voice from above. Finally, he presses his finger, singular, to the pad, and a pair of mechanical jaws snap down. He hisses in pain and backs away, massaging the gushing stump. "Your fingertip will be returned when you leave," the panel informs him politely. Well, that's a security measure, I suppose. As the door swings ponderously open, the governor's man pulls a red-ribboned candle from his pocket and lights it with great care. The flame is blue. He steps forward and the darkness swallows him. But before the door can swing fully shut, you dart forward and stick your boot in, and hopefully that doesn't just end up costing us the front part of our foot. Alright, well, we do have our own candle, so down into the vaults. The key you seek is held in Vault 001. The nearest door is marked Vault 746. This is going to be a long walk. You march into the darkness, your footsteps ringing like hammer on stone. The candle is still burning. And down, deeper into the dark. You walk past countless vault doors, each of which looks a little more impregnable than the last. Some are built of warding iron, some of witch glass, some of simple concrete. But there are stranger doors, too. Is that hardened god blood? Red, black, and twisted? Is that a vast mouth, lips tightly sealed? Vault 412, Vault 411, still a long way to go, but the candle is still burning. Finally, you reach Vault 001. The iron door shimmers with 1,000 twisting runes, interweaving and interlocking. The very sight of it makes you nauseous. The candle has burned down to 2/3 its height. You spend one day walking through the darkness beneath the factory. Still, the candle will get us back. Alright, Pen Pusher, it's time to do the thing. He gets to work unpicking the various curses and enchantments. I believe in him. I think he can do this. Pen Pusher draws a circle in chalk, sits cross-legged, flips through one of his books. Right, he says finally, slamming it shut. I think I know what to do. He chants under his breath, cuts himself, draws runes on the floor in his own blood. He burns incense and pulls glowing snakes from the smoke. He whispers secret words to dust and scatters it before the door. There are occasional dicey moments. A rune explodes, knocking his spectacles clean off. Another of the runes sears itself into Pen Pusher's forehead, leaving a scar that does not fade. But finally, the runes wink out one by one. The curses are disabled. The candle is half gone. Wax drips to the floor. And Dr. Henry Delgado begins unpacking his tools, which hopefully are not tools that would only function in the City of Engines. Dr. Delgado works desperately at the vault door with a crowbar, but it is far too well constructed to fall to such attempts. I can't do it, Captain, he finally admits, stepping back. The candle is a twisted lump. The blue flame is dimming. All right, I have to disable the vault's lock mechanism myself. I can do this. I like the fact that this goes all the way back to our character's origins, right? Growing up under his father as a tinker, and like, that's fine. I can do this. I can do this. You set to work with a plasma cutter and a hammer. The hinges are weaker than the rest of the door, and after an hour's work, you finally manage to prise them away. The door opens. The candle is a desperate stub and melting fast, but you've made it. The floor of Vault 001 is carpeted in keys. On hands and knees, you root through them until you find a key so black it swallows light. You pocket it. Behind you, a cacophony of shouts and clumping boots. You'd love to stay and gather more, but there are guards on their way. You don't have much time. It feels like I could still just grab a handful of keys, though, doesn't it? Alright, it's fine. You place your fetch mirror on the floor. The candle has almost gone out, and the guards are getting closer. You step into the glass, motioning for your crew to follow. Mirror glass shatters beneath you. Shouts of rage behind. Up through the sack monster's gullet. Ignore the taunting faces that appear on the walls around you. Ignore the things that follow. Finally, you break out into the Mirror-Wise proper, where chaos and color fold you into their anarchic embrace. You flee through the kaleidoscope psychedelia, paying no attention to where you're going, breathing hard, clutching your hard-won key close to your chest. All the demons of the factory are pouring out behind you. Finally, you lose your pursuers amidst the madness, but you've also gotten hopelessly lost. In a way, it doesn't matter where you come out. It's not like you'll ever be able to go back to the City of Keys. So you jump through the nearest mirror. Who knows where it will take you? It took us to Panachak. Forests of friendly corpses greet the newcomer. Beyond that, brown-yellow mists swirl around the legs of a creaking iron edifice. Is my train here? Because I'm a little worried that it might not be. Let's engage in a village competition. Today's competition is corpse decoration. Oh, that's a new one. Addressing the contestants, Mayor Feverbeard informs you that corpses are awarded prizes based on 5 criteria. The friendliness of their welcome sign, the politeness of their demeanor, the stylishness of their dress, the most effective concealment of odor, and, of course, outrageousness. You're handed a mostly rotten old man and a box of jaunty hats. And I guess we just go for it? Make an honest attempt. You fish out the most outrageous hat you can find and apply makeup to the old man's face. Now, don't apply too much mascara or the maggots will burst from his eyes, advises a fellow competitor. Thank you, that's good advice. Perfumes and spices to mask the scent, a fashionable scarf. What are you missing? Ah, yes. What will you write on the corpse's sign? You need to strike a delicate balance between friendliness and outrageousness, whatever that means. Welcome to Panachak. It's a little too straightforward. Hello, traveler. Don't worry. People here are quite nice, despite the corpse thing. It's a little on the nose, I think. Oh, I do like a town with esprit de corpse very much. That's very funny. A smiley face also. Like, if I think about the way the corpses outside of town, the ones we encountered when we came in the first time, work, it's a very creepy vibe, right? It's pleasant, but it's unsettling that it's pleasant in contrast with the corpse. Welcome to Panachak doesn't quite do that. That still could come across as menacing, just held by a corpse. A smiley face totally does it, though. Hot, so spicy. No, not so good. Dead, pleased to see you. No, that's pretty weak. I like Esprit de Corpse. I think that's a winner. You step back to admire your handiwork. A decayed figure, skin ragged with decay, and a stake fixing it upright. A town with Esprit de Corpse, reads the sign around its neck. Excellent corpse work, all, booms Mayor Feverbeard from his rusted podium. You're all winners, of course, and you will all receive certificates, but I will award an extra special prize to the best of the best. In the end, your corpse wins the Stylishness Prize, which turns out to be a differently colored certificate. But a foreigner winning a prize in the corpse decoration is apparently a wondrous unlikelihood, and the Penachak villagers promise that they'll be talking about it for months. Your corpse is given pride of place among the greeters. For years, travelers will be met with its grinning face and a town with Esprit de Corpse. Well, good, then. Let's gather news. And then, I suppose explore the Svadilfari, and then we'll, check in on everybody and see how everyone feels about the whole heist thing. Alright, you lower yourself through the topmost hatch. The corridor below is flooded with freezing, ankle-deep water. The mournful song starts up again, louder and echoing. You step over discarded tools and try to ignore the images scratched on the metal walls, of distraught faces, flames, dismembered corpses. The floor is covered in oil, a rainbow slick that extends as far down the corridor as you can see, and we just, we tread carefully. You skid uncertainly down the corridor, but you don't lose your footing. Your breath comes in bursts of fog, and again, the floor is still covered in oil. It's the same floor, it's the same oil. An iron staircase leads up out of the freezing water. Your footsteps ring in a sudden, anticipatory silence. You lean against the wall, head pounding. The world around you is changing. Visions of a world on fire, mile-high pillars of flame and smoke, gleaming steel and glass cities burning. And then you're back in the Svadilfari. Your fist is clenched so tightly it started to bleed. And I guess we just head deeper, right? Nope, never mind. At the top of the stairs you see a door marked Drilling Operations. It yawns open at your approach. You've explored the whole thing. Through the door you see a bank of switches and blinking lights. A shape coalesces in the air above. The ghost waits inside. Or something like a ghost. Like one of the magic pictures they sell in Skin Candle Square, different angles reveal different aspects. From one angle, it is a skeletally gaunt woman who looks drowned in oil, the black, slick chemical draping her like a shroud. But you tilt your head, and suddenly it is a squat man built of rusted girders, with a pair of dazzling searchlights for eyes. "I am the Svadilfari," says the manifestation, in a voice like creaking iron, which is not a voice that I can do. It extends a dripping, rusted hand. "Help me." Okay, what do you want? "Stop the drilling," says the Iron Ghost. "Please, my old world is dying. Their oil is almost gone." "How can I stop the drilling?" "The control panel here," the Oil Ghost gestures. "I cannot operate it myself, but you can. Stop the drilling." So the town is based on the oil. I mean, we're gonna end up destroying the town anyway. The thing we are doing specifically to save all of the other worlds, right? So yeah, of course we stop the drilling. Push buttons until the oil pumping stops. The Svadilfari shudders as though in relief, and falls still. "Thank you," says the spirit. It holds your gaze a little too long. Its eyes are black and wet. How can I ever repay... Am I picking up a little bit of a... It reaches forward, a light touch on your arm, leaving oil stains. Is this oil rig trying to fuck me? Is that... Seduce the oil... Well, I feel like it would be out of character not to at this point. This is how we've solved every other problem we've ever had. The oil rig tastes of salt and rust. Its embrace leaves dark stains. You draw close and fall together to the floor. You explore the Svadilfari. Boy, I sure did. Tentatively at first. Then it pushes you down and mounts you with a creak metal groan. It is pumping, mechanical, rapturous. Oil fills your every inch. When you are finished, you are oil-slicked, and the spirit of the Svadilfari is nowhere to be seen. It has subsided back into oil and metal. You hope its last few moments of atavistic consciousness were as blissful as they were for you. You clean yourself as best you can. There's gonna be oil in all the nooks and crannies for weeks. I begin climbing back up the rig. We've lost our damn minds. You know, the whole thing's going to hell. This is why we have to destroy the house, because this is what it does to people. The villagers are waiting outside with torches and lengths of lead pipe, demanding to know why their oil has stopped pumping. They chase you all the way to the edge of town, shouting for your blood. Perhaps you shouldn't come back for a while. Yeah, that seems like a reasonable... Let's just go. Hold on, I want to cuddle my rhinoceros, and then we're just gonna get out of here. Everything about this hole, it's gotten so strange. I don't know why they would sell me fuel, but we're gonna buy some fuel, and then we're gonna save the game, and then we're gonna leave. I guess we're still going west? I mean, we may as well go deliver the journals, right? There's no reason not to. So, south and then west a whole bunch. And of course, let's stop and have some chats with the crew. And I guess also with Morbazar. You wake in Morbazar's company, but not cradled in his and her colossal palm. You're sitting at the end of a fingertip, looking out over an endless star-sprinkled void. A smaller copy of the clock-faced god sits beside you, pouring you a cup of coffee. Well, whether you succeed or fail, this will be our last meeting, says the smaller Morbazar. The clock-face is impassive ever, but he and she actually sounds wistful. I've enjoyed our time together, SB. I've spoken to you many times, in many past lives, and it's rare that we get along so well. He and she places the warm cup in your hands. It's the perfect temperature. I am the storyteller, the god of games and riddles. Yet we've played nothing in all our time together. He and she waves a hand, and a chessboard appears between you. A friendly game before you wake? You know what? Sure, Morbazar. I feel like we can take this moment to bond. Tick-tock. Morbazar chooses white. He and she pushes a pawn 2 squares forward. You've chosen your path now, he and she says. All that remains is to see it to its end. You must go south, as far south as you can, down to Threshold. Why do you care about the other worlds? It doesn't seem like the other gods do. Morbazar considers this for a moment. Maybe it's because I wasn't always a god, he and she says. I was an angel once. I strived. Or maybe it's because my domain is games and stories. No one fully understands the horror of destruction until they know what it means to create. A wave of his and her hand at the chessboard. The years turn, and the house resets, and the same events unfold. But the games are never the same. Did I visit the orchard in these past lives, while nudging my pawn forward? All things linger, says Morbazar. You may have fragmented memories of lives where you chose differently, and that choice may have been undone, but not the consequences. There are countless worlds missing outside the house because of choices you have made. But here you chose differently, and by design this will be the final choice you make. And that's something. He and she has made their bishop an acolyte of Anglecrab. He and she moves it along an intricate trajectory, taking several of your pieces in the process. Well, that feels like a little bit of a pointed commentary on me. This is kind of a cool idea, though. It's about engaging with the idea of multiple playthroughs of A House of Many Doors. And then that's why destroying the house makes you unable to play the game anymore. That's such a cool idea. So, how long have you been working to destroy the house? I'll summon a visitant of my own to the board. Oh, I have tried 1,000 times, the god says. Take this game of chess. Imagine I was playing with just a solitary pawn at my disposal. An impossible task, yeah? But imagine I had infinite games, and I only had to win once. I mean, you're still not going to be able to win a chess game with a single pawn. That's just not going to happen. But it's fine, I get the metaphor. The crow is an unorthodox piece, but not a forbidden one. You swoop it across the battlefield. I have a slight advantage in this chess game. Checkmate. You win. Morbazar applauds politely and folds the board away. Now, beyond Threshold, you'll find the scar in reality, he and she says. To destroy the house, you must destroy Scorthidian, the mountainous scab who holds the scar together. I'll help you as best I can, although Scorthidian is a stronger and older god than I. And we gained an Esoterica, and yet another unique experience. Defeated a god at chess. Goodbye, Morbazar. Goodbye. I doubt we will meet again. Morbazar clasps your hand. It's been a pleasure. Oh, and I have good news. He and she reaches up and gently brushes your eyes closed. I finally worked out how to wake you up without killing you. Better late than never, eh? Gained a great deal of sanity. You drift into blessedly dreamless sleep. You will wake in the morning with a clear head. You know, as clear as it ever gets in here. Does anybody want to have a chat with me? Okay, well, I guess Dr. Vanch does. I've cracked it, whispers Dr. Vanch, half staggering from exhaustion. I have succeeded in communicating with the diseases we gathered, says Dr. Vanch. There is a new hoarseness to his voice. Has he slept since you last spoke? Okay, and what did you hear from Mummer's Frenzy? Mummer's Frenzy is an old and educated disease, says Dr. Vanch slowly. It spoke to me about the performances of its victims throughout history, like a snobbish theater critic. It seemed to detect an almost infinite variance in their quality, and it refused to tell me anything useful. Boy, that really does sound a little bit like pathologic, doesn't it? Okay, what did you hear from Ragskin? Whispers of apocalypse and oncoming disaster, says Dr. Vanch. He hands you a notebook filled with dense scribbles. I wrote down what it said, though most is nonsense. It drove its victims toward dangerous places as a sort of warning. It sees itself as a kindly god, and the tatterdemalions are its heralds. You flip through the notebook. Pouring through it later, you will discover it full of terrible portents and unsettling imagery. Well, I got some terrible portents for it, too. And what did you hear from Tooth Retreat? The doctor gulps audibly. Mad disease, he mutters. Obsessed with an ancient wrongdoing, a 2,000-year-old crime for which it blames humanity. It claims that the world it first came from was destroyed, and it seeks vengeance on every human in the house. Okay, so what next, although it doesn't necessarily seem super important? Next, I must attempt to commune with the plague itself, says Dr. Vanch. The plague has infected almost everyone, except me, of course. It is waiting to manifest its symptoms without warning and kill all of us at once. I should be able to simply take a sample from you and communicate with it. He retreats into his laboratory with a swab from your mouth and a drop of your blood. Everybody's always after my blood. An hour later, he returns, wheezing like a man who's run a marathon. It's not there, he says, leaning against your door frame drunkenly. You don't have the plague. Have I been deluded? Have I been wrong all this time? Was all this for nothing? Listen, it's not your fault. It's a plausible hypothesis. At the very least, you suggest he has made a major breakthrough in one area. He has successfully communicated with sentient diseases. Dr. Vanch seizes on this like a drowning man. Yes, of course, you're right. This was the kind of accomplishment that most medical men can only dream of. The plague may not be everywhere, but it is still a threat, right? The plague ravages Glitterberg, where it's barely contained. Dr. Vanch nods and straightens himself slightly. I knew that my travels would take me to Glitterberg eventually. I suppose it is time to stop forestalling the matter. Well, to the Entamark, I guess. But, actually, for now, this is probably where we ought to call it. I do want to say, before we stop for the day, that the heist sequence was super cool. I really like the fact that, who your crew is totally matters there. I wish that it maybe made a little bit bigger deal of, what your exact relationship with them has been, just to give it even a little bit more depth of context. But I really appreciate that you have to get to know your crew to know which kinds of jobs they might be able to handle, and then actually put them to the task, and it's a thing you all do together. I think that's a super cool sequence, and it does a really good job of making the parts of the world feel like they're parts of one world. Anyway, we are very out of time for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, tomorrow, I guess I will have driven to the Oddwinter incursion just because I'm very curious what exactly it is that the giants are going to do for us. And then we're going to end the world, I guess. And we'll see you then.